No matter how much we would like to admit it, no musician is perfect. Even amongst the greatest bands of all time, there are songs that lurk in the shadows as the most reviled pieces of music ever to infest the listener's ears. Then again, are they all that bad though? Don't get me wrong, there have been many artists who have come out with outright crap throughout their tenure, but some of the most mudslinging that these songs have had to endure is far from warranted. Most of the time these bands come under fire because the song doesn't sound like they should, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with trying new things. Instead of looking at what the song isn't, more often than not, these songs stand up as fine bits of music just the way they are. I am Kirsten from WhatCulture, and here are 7 hated songs much better than their reputations. Number 7, No Future by Blink182. When Tom DeLonge was notoriously kicked out of Blink182, a fair amount of the band's fanbase jumped ship with him. Though the band quickly found a replacement with Alkaline Trio's Matt Skiba, they still came under intense scrutiny over their 2016 return to pop-punk California. A lot of the typical complaints that come with this record come from the fact that the band sounds like they're treading water, with songs that don't stray too far out of the pop-punk formula. While that criticism is certainly founded, the last few Blink albums were a hodgepodge of different styles, with DeLonge trying to steer the band in different directions to mould Blink into something different. With a single like No Future, Blink finally got back to sounding like themselves again. With a fantastic chorus and a fabulous vocal performance between Mark Hoppus and Skiba, it may get a bit repetitive in places, but that doesn't diminish the power of this track's stellar hooks. An essential part of the Blink catalogue that could hold its own against classics like All the Small Things any day of the week. Number 6, Obla Di Obla Da by the Beatles. The Beatles' White Album is known as one of the greatest double albums in music. The common perception of this project is the Beatles were splintering off into their respective corners, creating solo tracks for the rest of the band to perform. Out of all the members, Paul McCartney was the most meticulous with his tunes, making the band work diligently on this song for hours on end. All this over what many consider the worst Beatles songs ever to be committed to tape. Though the song is a bit too loopy to take seriously, that doesn't stop it from being a great tune. When recording, it's sometimes harder to capture a freewheeling vibe for a song, but McCartney found a way, albeit painstakingly, to make a perfect pop song sound like nothing more than a jam session. Number 5, Troublemaker by Weezer. Weezer were in a bit of a conflicted position coming off their album Make Believe. Though the band had scored impressive hits with songs like Beverly Hills, the more rudimentary playing style and poppy approach left fans feeling a bit jilted. It was time for Weezer to get back to basics. After one listen, the band's self-titled Red album is certainly a return to more classic Weezer sound, but most fans agree it starts with a thud on Troublemaker. The whole song seems overly pretentious, with frontman Rivers Cuomo staking his claim as the next king of rock. Upon repeated listens though, this song actually grows on you exponentially. While the actual tune is dead simple, the whole thing seems to be meant as a tongue-in-cheek joke song. Instead of actually coming off as braggadocious, Rivers comes off as a regular dad talking about what he aspired to back in his prime. Aside from its plain backing track, this song is probably one of the most endearing Weezer songs of the 2000s, if you look past the initial lyric sheet. Number 4, Shecklers Revenge by Guns N' Roses. It's a modern miracle that Guns N' Roses' Chinese Democracy was ever put out to the public. After years of speculation after its initial sessions in the mid-90s, the record seemed like a distant vision and an impossible dream from frontman Axl Rose. Once 2008 rolled around, the album that fans were met with didn't come close to capturing the band's initial swagger. That's not to say the album isn't without its bright moments though. Coming right at the start, Shecklers Revenge is one of the most manic sonic bludgeonings the Guns have ever released upon their audience. The song almost has a horror movie vibe, with Axl Rose growling like a lunatic before exploding into a chorus that shows glimmers of the frontman's glory years. The song also boasts several guitar solos, and everyone from Bumblefoot to Robin Fink to Buckethead trading licks across this epic track. Though Chinese Democracy is nowhere close to a Guns N' Roses quality release, Shecklers Revenge has the slithering feel of a rattlesnake, which is more than enough to satisfy any fan of hard rock. Number 3, The Unnamed Feeling by Metallica. Saint Anger has gone down in legend as the Metallica album that should be locked away forever. From the incessant snare bashing to the spotty production all round, this record clearly shows one of metal's biggest bands weathering one of the rougher patches in their career. On the upside, there are some great tunes that did come out of the whole debacle. The album on the surface seems to be the band's attempt at new metal, with the Unnamed Feeling being their moody, introspective track. Given its abrasive sound and pitchy vocal performance from James Hetfield, the song certainly isn't in the same league as other ballads like The Unforgiven, but the foundation is still incredibly solid. The incredibly low-tuned finger-picked guitars give the song a slightly devilish tone, as Hetfield cries like a broken man at the hands of his vices. Even if Hetfield's more strained vocals do sound a bit like he's popping a blood vessel, it's still incredibly powerful in terms of displaying raw emotion. At the time, OG Metallica fans probably saw Saint Anger as yet another nail in their band's coffin. But the Unnamed Feeling is one glimmer of hope that the band we know and love is still there somewhere. Number 2, Jaded by Aerosmith. Riding high after appearing on the soundtrack to Armageddon, the bad boys from Boston got back into the studio with a sound that was too polished for many rockers' stomach. While the band's foray into the new decade with Just Push Play was a mixed bag, Jaded isn't nearly as bad as you may have heard. To meet the haters halfway, the polish on this song is incredibly sanitised, with nary a crunchy guitar to be seen within a 5-mile radius. If you look past the more sappy production choices, the song is actually a pretty decent pop song, with Steven Tyler putting his filthy lyrical content into a modern context. Though it may sound much closer to the pop diva sound of the day, Jaded showed Aerosmith settling into their latest sonic experiment with more ease than you might expect. Number 1, I Was Made for Loving You. Kiss. Every hard rock fan at one point or another has mocked I Was Made for Loving You as the Kiss sellout song where they stopped making rock music in exchange for just cynical cash grabs. With the benefit of hindsight, this song actually holds up much better than you might think. Sure, the falsetto vocals coming out of Gene Simmons' demonic mug does raise a few eyebrows, but the melody is absolutely captivating, with Paul Stanley showcasing his high register with incredible ease. Though people claim disco is a musical scourge on humanity, there was a ton of genuine talent to be found in that scene. Over the years, the song has become a live concert staple, where the band beefs up the original drum machine into a rock and roll stomper. While it may have weathered a beating upon release, this track has been written off by hard rock fans for far too long. And that's our list. Do you agree with these hated songs? Leave us a comment below and let us know. But for now, I've been Kirsten from WhatCulture, and I'll see you in the next one.
Look, my son. Look at the marvel that I have created. Comics. They called me a fool for trying to put a dead meme onto a t-shirt. A damn bold fool! A damn bold fool with an ass that won't quit. It got quite personal towards the end there. But look who's laughing now! Quiet! Quiet, my son, my ugly son. For my other creation rises. Look at the quality fabric, hand-stitched by blind orphans. The perfect letter spacing calculated so meticulously that Rich Hudson had an erection for months about it. And a colouring so deep that I had to buy the dye off the dark web. Oh, for God's sake, Josh!
Sorry.
Marvel. Oh no, the beast has grown angry, angered by our drab fashion choices. I am such a fool to think that it wouldn't try to infect us with its perfect design. Quick, we must do something to appease the beast. Why don't we buy one from shop.whatculture.com? Oh. Look, it's already got Scott Nash.
Oh no!
But where can I buy one? Are you kidding me? This is why I don't give you any extra lines. But also at shop.whatculture.com. Quick, let's go and buy one right now. Let's go buy one right now.
Right now.
Oh, don't you try hard now. You've already lost your bit. Oscar's in the f***ing bin. Ah, there we go. Doesn't that look better? I feel so virile and alive, and it's also fixed your hump. That's actually pretty good. Now, do yourself a favour and act like your mum and spread the love, aka her legs, and buy yourself one of these glorious dead memes on a t-shirt, courtesy of this handsome chap right here. You're very, very welcome.
Cut!
Jesus Christ, mine is so
It's
itchy.
all wet. What?
It stinks. I pissed on yours.
The worst font ever. I want to die.